As we practice our piece, the panel will start. We're going to need a little help resetting the stage so my team can get our chairs, and any help that Purvi can use to help with her bowls would be much appreciated. So we'll have the panelists on standby. And as we do that, let me just draw your attention to the program so you know the things that are happening today. We have our practicing our piece panel discussion here with Kevin and guests, and then we have a VIP chat with Christine Swanson, who's one of our VIPs. She is a filmmaker, writer, producer, definitely a mover and shaker who's got some strong thoughts about being an artist versus being creative, which is quite interesting. That's going to happen right after this panel. And then our first film screening shorts are going to happen at 1 p.m. in here, with a short block on incarceration-themed stories, so we welcome you to that. And then we have a mixed identity panel, so people who are finding themselves mixed race and telling stories about that. And this is not just for people who are mixed race, this is for people who are not, who also need to learn how to absorb those stories and find connection to them and elevate and amplify those in Hollywood as stories of representation. We also encourage you, just for information-wise, to know we have one working bathroom at this point. We have a plumber who's supposed to come today, so if you see a person with a big tool belt coming in, we'll make way for him to fix our leak in the bathroom. And this afternoon and night in the program, everything is pretty clear, but I want you to know some things sometimes do change from what is written to what is available. So always check online at BraveMaker Film Fest, because some locations have changed, like the open mic night was supposed to be at a pub, and now it's going to be here on Saturday night. If you want to do the open mic night, the sign up is in the BraveMaker Film Fest Instagram bio. If you want to sign up for a spot to share your talent, your comedy, your dance, whatever you do. Monologues, welcome. We also had the wiki portraits on Saturday. How many of you ever had a wiki portrait session before? Does anyone know what that is? You've heard of Wikipedia? Well, wiki portraits is basically getting your official portrait to be listed on Wikipedia. So there's a photographer who will be here from Wiki who's going to take anyone's portrait. So anytime someone Googles your name, it will pop up as an official wiki headshot, okay? That's happening here, and not what's listed in the program, which is supposed to be across the street. Okay?
In Hawaiian, wiki means quick.
Quick portraits. That's really what it's going to be. Wiki in Hawaiian, thank you. It will be quick. Okay, so we're almost there. Chairs are going to come up. Can I ask, does anybody have any questions or comments about last night or in general? And Kayla, actually I want to ask my Uncle Daryl. If you see there's a little white bucket, it looks like a washing machine in front of that BraveMaker Film Fest thing. Yeah, would you bring that to me? Awesome. Does anyone have any comments or questions about last night or about things in general? Purvi, you say you have a question?
No, I wanted, someone brought something to me yesterday and I couldn't say it because we started and everyone walked in. These sessions might bring colors, memories, make you feel vulnerable, you might feel teary-eyed, so just honor whatever happens to you or with you or for you. Just accept it and know that it's all meant to be. I just had to say that.
Yeah, feel, let it come.
Because I felt like something happened, I don't want people to be scared.
Yeah, great. And there's Kleenex in this room in case anyone needs that. Great, any other comments or questions? Go ahead, Tanika. Go.
First of all, thank you so much. I really enjoyed all of it. The sound bath. And, I didn't want to come up because I am getting teary-eyed. Thank you. It's just like that really, the sound bath opens like a portal, some sort of spiritual portal or something where, yeah, the vulnerability does come. But yesterday when I saw Kevin, it was the craziest thing. So I walked in and I thought I recognized him. So I immediately went up and go, oh my God, it's so good to see you again. Gave him a hug, and he goes, well, remind me where I know you from, right? And I go, oh my God, we've never met. You're the guy. He goes, all right. I was like, you're the guy. He's like, yes. But it wasn't even that I knew from the newsletters his face. It's that I had seen him online years ago. I remembered seeing him when he was talking about, just regularly online, what had happened to him, and it really moved me. And I had no idea that he'd become this incredible motivational speaker. So it was just really beautiful to see him, and also to just have that moment right as I walked in. So thank you.
Tamika is an alumni of BraveMaker and won our grant a couple years ago for her pitch, which we're very proud of. So I'm going to just show you real quick, and then the panel is going to come up. I will say voices carry loud in this room, so don't think that we can't hear you if you're talking at the back. So if you can, anytime there's workshops happening or panels, really be quiet in this room. That would really help us. If you go behind that wall, we can still hear you behind that pink wall. So it really would be great, even though we have these microphones, if we keep this as a quiet space during the panel. So real quick, and then our people are going to come up. We have this little thing right here. If you want to shout out somebody, it's on the back bistro table by the BraveMaker Film Fest sign on the wall. 3 people so far have filled it up. I want to thank my amazing, wonderful, sweet, kind, generous, supportive, and loving partner, Jacob Gunter. Stacy M. helped change my life. Kayla, lead photographer. Amazing, talented, supportive, kind. That's from Gabrielle. So we want to create a culture of encouragement and affirmation. So that is in the back. You can write it out because maybe you're not someone who feels comfortable grabbing a microphone. You could write that out. Okay, cool. All right. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Kevin Hines. Come on up, Kevin. And I'm going to present him. Kevin, this year, 2026, is our Trailblazer Advocate honoree. Thank you for the work you do. This is very light. You know when people win an award, people are like, it's so heavy. This is not an Oscar or an Emmy. It's a BraveMaker honor, so it's very light because we don't want it to be burdensome on you. You can put it in your bathroom. We don't mind, all right? We just want you to know we recognize you as a Trailblazer Advocate.
Thank you very much.
All right, we got mics. You're good. Take it over, Kevin.
John, Preston, Leticia Williams, RiTika Rose, please come on stage, and Leticia will have you on the left side, and then RiTika right in the middle, and John, here we go. Perfect. Okay, well, I'm going to just be aware, I'm going to use my notes. I have had 26 treatments of electroconvulsive therapy, and my short-term memory is shot, so I'm going to be going for the notes here, but here we go. Everybody, welcome once again to the BraveMaker Film Festival. Huge shout out and thank you to Tony Gapistone, to Gardenia as well, and to everyone involved, all the folks that put this together. Really incredible event. We are creating a space for one of the most important conversations in filmmaking today: protecting our peace while creating meaningful art. The entertainment industry is changing rapidly. AI is reshaping jobs. Opportunities feel increasingly uncertain. Rejection is at a constant. Burnout is common. And many artists silently struggle with anxiety, depression, hopelessness, and even suicidal thoughts and actions. Art can absolutely be healing. But at BraveMaker, we also believe creativity is not therapy, but it is therapeutic. Professional support, healthy relationships, and caring for our mental health are essential if we're going to build sustainable, creative lives in the service of helping people heal through media. I am so honored to share this conversation with 3 extraordinary people, if I include myself, 4 extraordinary people, whose work bridges storytelling, healing, service, and hope. I do want to recognize Purvi Shah and that beautiful sound bath healing. We just began together with the incredible Purvi Shah, whose work centers, as we know, on helping people reconnect with themselves through sound healing, mindfulness, and intentional presence. She's incredible, isn't she? Yeah. Round of applause for Purvi. Let's begin with our panelists on the left side. Leticia Williams, nice to see you, nice to meet you today. Leticia is our first panelist, a licensed trauma therapist based in Oakland. whose work focuses on helping high performers, including filmmakers, athletes, physicians, firefighters, and professionals in high-pressure industries heal from trauma while building sustainable emotional well-being. Very important. Leticia Williams is an EMDR-trained trauma therapist specializing in trauma recovery, workplace wellness, generational trauma, and the unique mental challenges experienced by high-performing professionals, creatives, and filmmakers. RiTika Rose, to her right, is our next panelist, a clinical director, occupational therapist, certified life coach, and creator of the Becoming You method. Following a profound personal breakdown that became a life-changing breakthrough, RiTika dedicated her career to helping others reconnect with their purpose, resilience, and authentic selves. RiTika is a clinical healthcare leader, occupational therapist, life coach, author, and she's absolutely one of a kind, and she's incredible. Thank you for being here, RiTika. John Preston, to her right, our next panelist, is a Marine combat veteran, a firefighter, a recording artist, a filmmaker, and a passionate advocate for veterans and first responders. Following the devastating loss of his brother Michael, a Marine veteran and police officer who died by suicide, John transformed grief into purpose through music, documentary filmmaking, and extraordinary cross-country walks raising awareness for mental health. John is a veteran of the Marines, as I said, 15-year firefighter with the city of Palo Alto, and he is an incredible entrepreneurial bit of a genius, in my opinion. His upcoming documentary, which I hope you all see, Carry the Weight, shares stories of resilience, healing, and hope within the veteran and first responder communities. And he's making that documentary with Zach Williams, Robin Williams' son, who's making Death Bridge with me. So we have a very close tie there. Let's start right now on the first question for Leticia. Leticia, you've worked with filmmakers, athletes, executive physicians, and firefighters. What emotional patterns do these high performers all have in common, even though their careers look so very different? Oh, let's pass the mic, of course.
You know, I find that a lot of high performers take the full responsibility for what I see as like unhealthy work culture. So you may feel like you're struggling or you're not good enough, and really there's these environments that are not necessarily conducive to you performing well or feeling well about yourself. So a lot of times we're looking like, is that a you issue or like an industry issue? Is that a you issue, or are you really being harassed or exploited or taken advantage of? And so a lot of times we're like teasing out what's you and then what's around you. And so sometimes, you know, there is some interpersonal stuff, but sometimes it's the culture of the workplace, maybe your coworkers. It could be just the industry. Sometimes there's this kind of like, I'm not gonna say hazing, but you're proven tough how much you can endure. And we're looking at, but why do I need to endure all that? Why can't I get the support I need to do my best? So a lot of times I'm looking at helping folks identify like, this may not be you. It may be everything else around you. Do you want to withstand that? And what tools can you use to show up and be yourself, you know, and perform your best?
Thank you for that beautiful answer. Let's snap that up right now. Come on. That was good. That was amazing. RiTika, let's move to you for just a moment. RiTika, am I pronouncing your name right?
Yes.
Thank goodness. RiTika, your own breakdown became the beginning of your life's work. Looking back now, what did that difficult season teach you that success never could?
Yeah, so this is a really interesting question, and it's kind of twofold. The biggest change that happened for me was my relationship with the word why. I'll get to that in a second. The other thing was learning that the importance of the inner leadership foundation versus the outer leadership sensation is what shifted for me, right? So a lot of times, until we move to this transformation period in our life, we could be operating based on what is learned behavior. What has family taught us to be? What has community taught us to be? What has culture taught us to be? What has industry taught us to be, right? How are we really showing up? And are we operating in life based on what we think we should be or who we think we should be? Or are we really showing up in life and operating who we truly are? So when I had my breakdown, to breakthrough moment that I call it, there was 3 major life challenging events that all happened at the same time. It was all the top of January 2011. I had achieved my highest clinical director role, so I was at the top of my game in healthcare. I had achieved a relationship that I thought was it for me. It was my soulmate, and I also was producing a film. So in the entertainment sector of my world, I had achieved that level. And all 3 came crumbling down at the same time. And the breakdown that night was, why? Why me? Why is this happening to me? And it was a whole series of events that night until I woke up the next morning, and I tell everybody, it's like something lifted off of me. It was like, this is a spiritual transformation. It was almost like God was waiting for me to have this breakdown so I could break through into my truth. So it wasn't, why is this happening to me? It's, why is this happening for me? Right? Maybe all of those things I thought that I needed to achieve in life, the professional goal, the relationship goal, the movie goal, maybe that wasn't the right time for me, or it wasn't the right opportunities or the partnerships that I needed in that time of my life, but I thought it was, because that's what society taught me to be, right? Hence, the change and the shift with the word why, and now it's, why do I do what I do? I do it on purpose for myself, and we'll get to that later, but that was the biggest transformation. And moving into that inner leadership versus that outer leadership for everyone else. I'm doing it for me.
Thank you, RiTika. Amazing. Perfect. Yeah, there we go. Give it up. Absolutely. RiTika, that reminds me of something that Arnold Schwarzenegger once said. I'm sure he didn't coin the phrase, but he did say, it's not about what happens to you, it's how you react to what happens to you. And that's really important to consider, is that how do you react to the adversity, struggles, issues, challenges, battles you face, because that's all that really matters. John, let's go to you. John, you have given incredible service to not just this country, but your communities at large. And as a Marine, as a firefighter, as a musician, making music that matters and making films that change lives. Across all of those worlds, John, what have you learned about the emotional weight people quietly carry?
I think he did that on purpose. He said weight. That's the film name is Carry the Weight. Everybody, it's calm. You all look beautiful today, first of all. I am an odd person because she was talking about learned behavior, and my learned behavior, I came from a father that was a war veteran. My brothers were all first responders and living in that world. And I had to become that to feel like I was becoming something for them. I was the last and youngest child. I joined the Marine Corps just to be like my brothers and father. I got out here to California to pursue a music career and ended up becoming a firefighter like my family had done. And it was really this concept of I'm different than everyone else around me. That's how I feel as an artist, right? And this is a room full of artists, so I'm sure every day you question yourself, like, what am I doing? Why am I not better? Why am I not, the world's supposed to know what I'm doing, and it's this constant chase. And I live in a dynamic of 2 different worlds where in the fire service now for the last 15 years of my life, it's this very alpha, very anti-artist, go fix a problem. The problem is fixed, go back and, train and learn more about fixing the problem. There's no creativity to it. It's only doing what you're supposed to do to be everybody else's hero. So I found a way to take those 2 and put them together. And my goal and my plan with that package that everybody deals with as the artist, what we're dealing with is this ever enough? Am I ever going to make it? Am I ever going to be enough for everyone? And in the fire service, every day we show up to everyone's worst day. So when we're showing up to their worst day, we're filling a backpack and we're taking our own empathy and absorbing the worst. If you imagine your worst, I'm there. That's a Tuesday for me. So taking the 2 and finding a way to meld them where we can reach people and from every world, that's always been the intention. And I understand that each culture and each thing is so different that it's hard to say, which one actually is, So just doing my best to get out and speak about both worlds in different ways is what has been, good for me. So.
Thank you, John. And can we thank John for his service to this country, please? Truly. Leticia, back to you. Leticia, many creatives believe that they have to sacrifice their brain and mental health to make meaningful art. They believe they have to suffer. What have you learned in your work that challenges that belief?
Oftentimes, I'm challenging the individual with that belief. Like, I'm listening to you all talk, and I gravitate towards hearing how people talk about themselves. What parts stick out to you? What's meaningful to you? And so and a lot of times my high performer folks, this is going to be a tough week for me. Oh my God, I see myself kind of crawling. And I said, is that the only way that you can see yourself this week? Yes, it's demanding. And I think because we hear it so often, the struggling artist, the hungry musician, that we think that's the only way that we can be. And so a lot of times, and when I'm walking through the thoughts with folks, it's how else can you be for this challenging week? Can you see yourself upright? Can you see yourself eating enough meals, taking enough breaks, having enough water? Can you see yourself reaching out to friends? And a lot of times when we're overwhelmed, we have a very, very narrow way that we see ourselves. And that's often because the mind is overwhelmed. Like, I can only think of one thing. I can only focus my energy on one thing, and that's getting through this week. Oftentimes when challenging folks, can we shift that one thing we focus on? Can I see myself killing it this week? Can I see myself calm in this audition? Can I see myself executing this scene? Can I see myself shooting that jump shot in perfect form? And so when I have a chance to hear how people think and talk about themselves, then we say, is there any other way that you want to be? And when we have those quiet moments with a therapist, right, when we are pausing time for that 50 minutes, for me, it's 3 hours. I take longer sessions with folks. But where you pause time to even think or conceptualizing how life could be different, how you approach your work, how you work with that difficult person. Can you see yourself getting negative feedback and it not penetrating your heart? Can I have open ears to hear without being ready to respond, to just listen? So oftentimes when you give yourself a chance to kind of think through this and you say, I might want to show up rested. I might want to show up present. Not, I just made it here on time. And so even coming here today, I take a moment to kind of look around and allow myself to be here, allow myself to be with the panelists, allow myself to be with you all. So I was really grateful for that sound bath to ground myself. I'm a professional, but I'm still a human person too. And so allowing yourself a chance to feel all the feelings, even the negative ones, the hard ones, but to say, you know what, I think I want to be present. I think I just want to see what today presents without trying to guess. So oftentimes I'm challenging folks to think about other ways you might want to show up and may want to feel.
Leticia, I love that. That's so crucial. Just challenge that norm. Everybody kind of doesn't always think about being that present in the moment. Something you said really hit me, and I think that we all have that opportunity to take ourselves out from thinking about the future or worrying about the past and being in this moment right here. So thank you. RiTika, up to you now. RiTika, many filmmakers tie their whole identity to whether they're working or currently getting hired. How can creatives and actors and filmmakers separate who they are from what they produce?
Fascinating question, and such a deep topic, but we don't have time for all of that today, so I'm going to try and make it short. So identity for me comes to the next word, who. Who are you? Who are you being? Who are you showing up as? These are all really important questions, right? So piggybacking on my last comments, are you showing up, or are you being who you think you need to be for everyone else, or are you showing up and being who you need to be for yourself? That's your identity, right? So your identities are directly tied to your value system, in my belief. And once you know your values, you can start moving forward into your identity and truly being who you are. So with this particular question, you know, I think for artists and creatives, I think a lot of our identity is also tied to our projects. Hopefully, you're working on projects that are tied to something that you believe in, something that's deep down in your soul moves you, right? So what I would like to encourage you all to do is not tie your identity to whether you have work or whether that project is coming in or you're making that, you know, level of income. Tie your identity to, are you consciously and actively working on a project that is meaningful to you? Are you consciously and actively working towards a purpose that is meaningful to you in this industry? That can come in many different ways. So that's how I'd like you to sort of, you know, look at your identity, right? And just really, and you know, with my work in the Becoming You method, one of the first things we work on are these, I have 2 really in-depth self-leadership assessments that really sort of set you up for identifying who you are, operating in your values, making sure that you start with that first until we get into the rest of the program. So, yeah, I think that should answer most of the, I can go on and on about this topic, but for time, I'm not going to, but yeah.
Thank you,
yeah.
RiTika. That was incredible. No, grateful for it. Appreciate it. We are not what we do. We are who we are. I think that's the best way to say it. Thank you, RiTika. John, now we're going to get into something a little more serious, and thank you for being here for it. John, after losing your brother Michael, you chose to create instead of retreat. How did making music and venturing on this documentary film, Carry the Weight, become a part of your healing while also helping so many others?
Yeah, I think initially, first of all, my brother was my hero, just to put that out there. He was the oldest of the family. He was a Marine with like every honor that you could get in the Marine Corps, the most physically fit, a jiu-jitsu black belt, just this incredible human being that helped everyone. Losing him broke my heart, so it was more of a heartbroken adventure in the beginning, where I thought I could be the hero. And I threw a couple songs in the top 200 within the first 6 months of him passing, just based on drive and adrenaline, right? I think you guys work in the artist world and you understand that if you send 1,000 messages, the 3 you get back are probably important. So I sent 1,000 every day until I got all the important ones. And we moved forward and we were successful in that, but I did not feel successful. I was talking on a national stage doing, you know, CNN interviews and all this amazing stuff, and I felt like I was reaching nobody. So I decided I was going to walk. I put on a pack. I walked. The first walk was from Palo Alto, here where I'm a firefighter, to San Diego, where my father became a Marine. And that was initially how all of our stories started, right? That's where our traumas came from, but that's also where all of our pride came from. So I'm 200 miles into a walk. I'll get this out as fast as I can because I know we're moving through a panel. I'm 200 miles into a walk with a 50-pound pack on my back with the rules that I made. And we all make our own rules. She was just talking about it. It's how you see it. I have to have this. And I can't walk anymore. I'm physically being pushed to the end of the 22 miles on that day, which we walked every single day. And the crew is shouting for me to keep going, and I stop, tears soaked, drop the pack. And I realized at that moment either maybe I'll make it to LA, not San Diego for sure, or I might even need to quit within the next few days. My body is completely destroyed, and I had to do something. I had to ask for help. I made a video. I didn't want to share that video. We put that video on social media. Within hours, we had people calling from all over the country that were on their way to California. I still get kind of emotional about it. The entire fire service showed up. The veteran community showed up. And then people, just people. You feel like you're alone. You feel like you're fighting for something by yourself. You're not. And that pack was taken from me as much as I would let them. And we made it to San Diego, you know, and that was the beginning of this beautiful documentary that also hikes across the East Coast too. But we have an opportunity when someone dies. You have a choice when you go through your own trauma, and you can choose to write your narrative to be the hero, or you can choose to lay and weep and cry, or you can choose to blame everyone else. And in reality, that is your choice and only yours. You can look at us and say, that guy inspired the hell out of me, and I'm going to do what he did, or not. And nobody is shaming you for anything. I just want everybody to remember that life is beautiful and live it as long as you can.
Wow, thank you, John.
Thank you. Can
That
I
was-
say something about
Please,
that?
please, Leticia, go for it.
So what sticks out to me as a trauma therapist and as someone who has helped folks with grief, one of the most important stages of grief is actually the depression stage. And we like to bypass that one, or we're in denial, or we don't admit it. But it's one of the stages that it's recommended that you actually don't try to push people out of too soon. You need to come to terms, not you need to, but it's most helpful to come to terms with the reality of what has happened. With the stages of grief, you got anger, you got denial, you have acceptance, you have bargaining, like God must have put this on, put this in my life for a reason, or I'm upset, or I won't accept that this person is. But depression is the truth. It is something you cannot fake, and it is important that you experience it. Listening to your walk, the part that seems like, I'm not going to make it, I'm going to fail my mission, was actually sounds like the most important part. And it allowed people to show up. And it sounds difficult, right? Like, you didn't let some people hold your pack. But there were folks who were available to help lighten the load, to encourage you. Doesn't mean it was easy, but it was easier when you have support. And I think that when I got the call for this panel, is really to encourage folks that, yeah, it's not going to be better necessarily, but you can navigate challenges a little smoother. The weight is a little lighter when there's more folks around, and that's the hardest thing, is to accept when you're challenged, when something becomes unbearable, when it feels like I may have to stop, when it feels like I may fail. When you admit that, and it gives people an opportunity to show up for you, and sometimes you make the journey all the way. Thank you for sharing.
Oh, thank you, Leticia. That was very well said. Thank you very much. Please go for it, RiTika. Go for it.
On both these wonderful folks. Oh, I got two mics. I think listening to both of you, I think the last comment I'll make on this is to understand the importance of asking for help when you need it. I think that a lot of people don't do that enough. And maybe we think that we don't have folks out there for us, but just like John explained, the minute he stopped, everybody came rushing in. And so just know that that's out there for you too, right? It may not even be the person that you expect it to be, and then that person shows up. So please ask for help when you need it. It's actually one of the most powerful things that you can do.
On that note, do you all remember, those of you who were here yesterday, do you remember what we said together? I can't hear you. I need help now. Don't be afraid to say it. Don't be afraid to say it often. Don't be afraid to say it until someone's willing to answer the call. Okay, let's go back to you, Leticia. I really want to ask you this question. Hollywood often rewards overworking while quietly discouraging vulnerability. How can artists protect their peace without feeling like sacrificing their ambition?
That one's hard. It's just
Take your time.
It's just hard because there's a lot of praise and reward that comes with looking like you have given up everything in order to produce something wonderful, right? But you have to know the edges of your limits. Like, and I use the word healthy and unhealthy, because good or bad does not really describe, should I be doing it, shouldn't I be doing it, this is bad. But I like to help folks think of, like, what's the healthiest for me at this time? And there's a difference between, like, you know, I want to test something out. I do want to push my limits if you have the capacity, right? If you are not taking great care of yourself, if you're isolating, if you're using substances more than normal, if you are not sleeping, and if you have negative internal self-talk, those may be signs that it's not a good idea to push those limits. If you are curious of, like, oh, I want to try this new project, there's a role I haven't done before, or there's a challenging producer that I know will, you know, be great for my resume, and I have the capacity to expand my skill set, then it might be a good go. But you have to create those terms. There may be people who say, go ahead and do it, and they don't know that you're losing weight or you're gaining weight. They don't know that you're losing your hair or your health is starting to decline. They don't know that you have this rumination of negative words that you're saying about yourself. I'll never do, and that's normal. I want to, like, say it's normal to feel down, depressed, anxious. All those are normal, but it may not be healthy if there's no end to it, right? If for the past month you've been hard on yourself, for the past month you've been isolating. And so thinking about what's healthy for you, that may be a way of defining those limits for you. I know I can't take that project because at this time it may be unhealthy for me. Or, you know, this might be the perfect time for me to do something really scary. The difference is you're excited and you have the capacity. On the other hand, pushing your limits, if it's going to impact your health and well-being, you may want to consider, is this the right thing for you? Sometimes people still say yes. So if the answer is yes, just make sure you have support. You know, have a care plan if you have pushed yourself too far of, okay, now I need a week of, like, not talking to people. As a trauma therapist, after session, I don't talk that much. I go for walks, I cuddle with my dog, I actually build in joy weekly, I build in joy monthly with my family, because I don't want to be too tired. I've given it out to everyone else and now I'm a drag when I get home. So having a plan, when you know you're going to push yourself a little bit, how are you going to care for yourself afterwards? So it's not always don't do it, but make sure you take care of yourself when you might have done too much.
Thank you, Leticia. Wow, aren't these panelists great? Okay, so on that note, I want to touch upon something you said that really hit me again: the negative self-talk. How many people in this room, be honest with yourself, be honest with your peers, since childhood until now, have ever looked in the mirror or just in general said negative things to yourself? Raise your hand. Okay, that looks like everybody. Okay, all right, we got that. All right, now what I want you to do is understand this. What we recite, what we repeat about ourselves is what we believe. Think of every major faith in the world. Recite a prayer, repeat said prayer, believe said prayer. Take the faith aspect out of it. What you say about yourself really matters. Bruce Lee most famously said, the Kung Fu master most famously said, don't speak negatively about yourself, your brain doesn't know the difference. And there's great brain science to speaking negatively about yourself and how it affects your brain and your whole body. So what we're going to do right now, to break between the panel, is just repeat after me. I get to be here. I can't hear you. I am a gift to everyone who sees me. Now turn to your left and right. Okay? Everyone in this room is what's known as a thermodynamic miracle. You had a 1 in 400 trillionth of a chance to be birthed into this world. Did you hear what I just said? Each individual in this room had a 1 in 400 trillionth of a chance to simply exist. That means you're meant to be here until your natural end, never to die by your hands. So keep going. Okay, now back to the panel. All right. Okay, RiTika. RiTika, I want to talk about this. You teach 8 life mastery skills, which I'm going to go learn, by the way. and I hope everyone else does here as well, through the Becoming You method. Which one of those 8 life mastery skills do you believe artists need the most in today's rapidly changing entertainment industry? Break it down, girl.
Staying in integrity to yourself. That is the number one thing, which is the first life mastery skill after the assessments are done, which is truth. So truth is your integrity system, right? So once you get to that stage of really operating in your truth, knowing who you are, these are your values, these are your boundaries, I've released the patterns I've had, we can start moving through truth. First step. There is so much going on right now, right? It is so ever evolving. So to that, what I guide folks through is, you don't need to learn it all at once. You don't need to know it all at once. What feels right and true to you in that moment, right? For example, for me, everyone says, you need to, Instagram, XYZ, all these social media. Instagram gives me anxiety. I am not on Instagram, straight up. I can't do it. I don't want to do it. I'm not going to do it, at least for right now. I might change later on, but so for you folks, think about right now, you can take a moment. With all the different, avenues that are coming towards you right now, what feels truthful to you? What feels intuitive to you? What is the one thing or the 2 things that you want to learn right now that could support you and help you moving forward in the mission and purpose that you have? AI is a big thing right now. I'm sure that's coming up for a lot of folks, and it's scary, it's stressful, it's anxiety producing. You could take something like AI as an example for this panel and say, okay, what are the parts of AI that I can maybe learn right now that can support me? I don't need to use it all, but what are the parts of it that can support me right now that I'll learn and I'll start incorporating, and then slowly, week by month by year, I'll learn more and incorporate it, because it's evolving and it's going to be, it's here for change. But, always operate first with what feels true and right to you. Don't feel like you have to do anything outside of that, because you will not be protecting your peace then. It's going to give you anxiety. It's going to give you stress. So do what you can in the moment. I'm going to use this because this is just coming to me, so I have to say it. When we say on film, hold for sound, there's a lot of sound and noise out there, tons of it. Hold. Let it pass, and then roll.
Hold, let it pass, and then roll. Thank you, RiTika. Thank you very much. We talked about negatively talking to yourself, but in the entertainment industry, when you're a public person, there's a lot of people that negatively talk about you, online, in person, otherwise. My perspective on that, look, you're going to see it in my film Death Bridge. When we started fighting to raise the nets at the Golden Gate Bridge, my father and I and my family got death threats. If you do this, we will kill you. And that's about the most negative thing someone can actually say to you beyond measure. So we had to take that in perspective, prepare ourselves, be vigilant, and take care of security. And it was a difficult time. But when someone negatively barks at you online, you don't have to respond. Silence is the best answer, is the best response. That negative space between response is the best response. When someone tries to hurt you online, remember this. That's their problem. You don't have to make it yours. John, to you again, please. John, let's really talk about your documentary, Carry the Weight. We've briefly discussed it, but break down, what does that title really mean to you today? And what do you hope filmmakers across the globe and audiences who see it take away from it when it comes out?
I think our path is just that. It's a path, right? It's not paved. We move from one thing to the next based on a lot of times what we're chasing or what we think is supposed to be our future. I went out on this hike, the first one initially, to probably heal myself, I think was what it was. We chose the second hike to share the weight, is what we did. We had 3 people that walked the entire walk, including my wonderful wife, who was a retired San Francisco firefighter, total rock star. And we all fell apart again, even though we were carrying less weight. It was terrible because 700 miles of walking. But through this journey of, hey, I was going to be a rock star. When I got out of the Marine Corps, I went to LA. I was already pseudo-famous. I had a song go viral before it existed, and before viral was a thing, before YouTube was a thing. I was in newspapers across the country as a singing Marine. And I chased and failed, and I got up here to the Bay Area and became a firefighter. Then I got injured firefighting, and I said, I'm not giving this up. I'm not stopping. So I went after music again, and music brought me to the next place. And then it's this constant evolution, right? I'm writing 2 scripts now with Tucker Tooley. That's like one of the coolest things on earth. One is about a firefighter that's a struggling musician, and the other is about me trying to make a movie. Yeah, and here we are, still trying to make a movie today, and it will be done, and it's a beautiful thing. I put my life on the line and almost died a lot of times out on the road while we were hiking, to tell other people that you can help yourself. It's a weird moment because it was on camera when I found out my brother passed, and I was getting ready to play a show in Sacramento, and I remember that moment, and I remember the original filmmakers we were working with were saying, no, man, we can't do this right away, because the moment I get the news, I'm getting ready to play a show, and I'm like, no, fuck that, we're playing. We're playing. That's what we were here to do, was to advocate for people that were doing this. I'm going to tell the fucking world, and that's where I went. I'm telling the world. And I've rode this wild, weird path for the last 10 years since that happened, to tell the world, and that has always been that. Whatever's in your heart, whatever you feel at that moment of, this is why I'm doing this, do it. Do it. Don't stop. I know that she gave great advice of, maybe I'm overworked, but push it just a little further. Push it just a little further, and you'll see that maybe what you thought you were chasing is not what you ended up with, but what you end up with is so much more beautiful. So that, I mean, that's been my journey, man, and that's making the film, and what it's done for me is not only realizing that I had more in me than I ever thought I did, but realizing the world around was also there too. So,
Thank you, John. I want to give time for Leticia and RiTika to give some final messages to the audience here today. So, Leticia, if there's one thing you want to impart on this beautiful audience here at BraveMaker, let us know what that is. A moment of wisdom, please.
The topic for our panel was on peace, and it stuck out to me, and it's a value of mine so much that I named my first son Peace.
Oh.
Love it.
My second son's name is Irie, which is Jamaican patois, like everything is Irie. Mm-hmm. And it's a value that is not universal. Everyone has a different definition, understanding, experience with peace. I encourage you all to learn and define it for yourself, because sometimes we use words that we haven't really defined for ourselves. And it, for me, is the most important guiding principle for my life, such that I want my boys to have it, to share it, to be it, most importantly. And peace is available to us all, whether we're successful or failing, whether the conditions are great or challenging. It's available to us no matter who's in political office, no matter what's going on down the street. It's an experience that we can access internally at all times. And if it's hard to access it, if it's been hard to understand and define and share and experience, I encourage you, it is worthwhile to learn and get support. For me, I can go to peace at any moment, and it's where I find refuge. It's where I just am. I'm not a title. I'm not producing anything. But when I come from a place of peace, everything else is wonderful. Everything that I touch becomes more than what I can imagine, and the interactions I have with others are from a place that I want to show up in the world as this. I want to have these type of experiences. So I implore you all to find peace, to find it, and be it.
Leticia, I love that. Wow, you are a bundle of wisdom and joy. So thank you. I love that your son's names, Peace and Irie, and I love them especially because my mom's whole family's from Jamaica. So from St. Mary. Thank you. So, RiTika, a moment of wisdom. Final words. What do you have to say?
Yeah. First of all, thank you everyone for being here, and thank you for having us. I think the last moments of wisdom I'd like to share is that the epitome of the Becoming You method that I created is literally about moving into your inner peace and identifying with your true story. It's literally what this program is. So if there's any last words that I can give you all today, is to sit with this exercise. And let's all just, if we can, let's all do this together. Close your eyes. And I want you to find the first positive word about yourself, your truth, after these two words. I am, insert your truth. That is your true identity. That is how you're going to walk forward in this life. This is how you're going to own your story. This is how you're going to protect your peace. This is who you are becoming and who you're meant to be. Go forward and operate that way, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you, RiTika. Thank you to our panelists. Thank you, Leticia. Thank you, RiTika. And John, do you have any last words to say real quick?
Of course, first of all, when my son was born, he peed on me, so I named him John. Like father, like son. On a serious note, he is John, and he did pee on me. We do this once. Buddhists say we do it a lot, so maybe we do it a lot. But if this were the only time, I want to make sure that I do it all. Whatever all is, whatever's in your heart, because there'll be something was implanted in your heart since you were a baby. Everybody knows that. So don't be afraid to do that. Don't be afraid to make the phone calls, to send the texts, to send 1,000 emails to people saying your story is important to talk about. And if you do enough of that, people start talking about your story, and your films and your art and all of the things that you beautiful and amazing artists are making. So to me, the path is going to change. We're going to hear no a lot. We're going to fail. We're going to fall on our face over and over and over again. From personal experience, suicide sucks. So don't look at that as even an option. Let's just keep moving through your path and understand that it's a fun ride if you let it be. It's all perspective. So it was great to meet you all. You guys have a beautiful day.
Thank you so much to our incredible panelists. Thank you, BraveMaker Film Festival, for creating spaces where honest conversations like this can happen. If there's one thing I hope you leave from today, it is this: you are far more valuable than your next audition, or your next film, or your next funding round, or your next screenplay. You are perfect just the way you are. You are enough because you matter. Please keep making meaningful and beautiful art, but don't forget to invest in the artist creating it. And finally, if you are struggling, reach out, call or text 988, text CNQR to 741-741, the crisis text line. Don't keep silent. Talk to people who love you and tell your truth. And we are honored to once again present the trailer to Death Bridge. Some of you saw it yesterday, some of you did not. We're going to play it here one more time. But before we do, I want you to take out your cell phones, and I want you to record the trailer and what comes after it, because it's important, and I want you to keep it with you and on you. Please don't sleep on this. There's something at the end I want you to see that you can capture and go to for constant inspiration that comes out on a daily basis So please take your phones out if you, hey, some of you are not doing it. Come on, don't sleep on this. I'm serious. Get your phones out, please, if you're willing. I want you to record whatever you feel comfortable recording, but there's a piece at the end I want you to capture. It's a QR code, and I want you to take it with you, okay? Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
For the audience members who don't know your story, let's just start with it.
At the age of 19, I had a mental health crisis. Improperly treated bipolar depression. There are people that hear positive voices. The voices in my head were vicious, angry, violent, and they hated me. I leapt off the Golden Gate Bridge in an attempt to die by suicide. For 90 years, thousands died by suicide off the Golden Gate Bridge. And the people in charge of the Golden Gate Bridge did nothing.
There had been 7 other campaigns. My effort was number 8, and that was in 2004.
I'm not privy to the discussions that prior boards had, but I know certainly it had been debated for decades.
You've read the books, the complexity of this thing and their ability to hide. That's why I'm shocked.
And while people debated, more people needlessly died.
Matthew's friends were devastated because they didn't know, and they didn't know what to do.
What it says about society in its broadest sense is that it's way, way too easy to just excuse death.
With lives being lost and nothing being done, where were the people in charge of stepping in?
Well, it was seen as a little bit unorthodox. Sometimes it takes a champion. Sometimes it takes a Kevin Hines.
I will fight to be well in the diagnosed bipolar for every waking moment, no matter the pain I'm in. For the people I love, most importantly for myself and for God. Logan, how are you today, brother?
Yeah, amazing, Kevin.
It's real life, really powerful impact. Storyteller is the most powerful person in the world. And you are a storyteller. I'm just happy to be a part of it.
Keep fighting, always and forever. Be here tomorrow and every damn day after that.
What Kevin has done, his relentless, dedicated advocacy. You can turn tragedy into success.
Is San Francisco's public policy atmosphere poisoned or redeemable? That involves transparency and optics around how policy is actually made.
A dark secret kept silent for almost a century.
Well, when I joined the Golden Gate Bridge Board, I really knew very little about this issue. This just cannot happen.
Why did it take so long to get the net raised? Why did it cost thousands of lives?
From 1937 till 2000, the Golden Gate Bridge Board did nothing.
Every day, my social media model has been qualitatively and quantitatively peer-reviewed, analyzed, and proven to do 3 things: increase help-seeking behaviors, improve reach-outs to crisis and text lives, and actually save lives. Thank you for this panel. Thank you for Tony. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Be well, and be here tomorrow.
Be here tomorrow. Thank you, everybody. Let's give this one rousing applause, please, to them. Thank you. Have a fantastic day. I invite you to go take a rest. Our trailblazer advocate right here. We're grateful for Kevin, who's going to LA. He's jumping on a plane to go to LA for more meetings on this film. By the way, Taylor Lautner, I'm in a fangirl. What's this movie? Twilight? That's Edward? Edward. Who's Twilight? Sorry, Jacob. Jacob is the executive producer. What? That's amazing! Other people like Taylor, what's his name? Logan Paul, Zach Williams. I drive over the Golden Gate Bridge every week and through Robin Williams' tunnel. I remember the day that Robin Williams died. I was on set that day. And it is now going to have a different meaning to me. So again, thanks for being here, dude, and making this happen.
I want to shout out Patrick Green and Eric Seabush helped make this film, and they're right there behind us.
All right, let's go. Thank you, movie makers. All right, I'm going to take just 60 seconds of your time. We have mugs. You are the story. We have these shirts. Stories save lives. Telling your story saves lives. This is what we are all about here at BraveMaker. When you tell a story, when you watch a movie, people feel connected. They want to keep living. They want to be here tomorrow. These are $25. Get them in the back. It's kind of an honor code, so use the QR code and pay for that. We have free stickers that say stories save lives. And the last thing is 80, now 83. We got one new donor last night. Somebody said to me, I wish I could give you thousands every month. I said, you don't need to wish. You can. Just kidding. But I said, don't underestimate $10. And she became a donor for $10 a month yesterday. It's not like we do want hundreds of thousands, but 5, 10, 25 helps us do more things like this, okay? Have a great rest of your day. We're going to be back here in a half an hour with Christine Swanson. Go get some coffee, meet a friend, take some photos, get a breath, whatever you need to do, okay? Cool. Brave stories change the world. You are the story.